Hey guys, we're here with my buddy Marko, who's in town from New Jersey.
Yeah.
So
Nice
tell us,
little trip.
yeah, tell us a little. What are you in here for? What are you in town
Let's see.
for?
Came with buddies, a couple of us. Went down to Park City on a little snowboarding trip. We even went down to Fifth Water Hot Springs. That was really nice. Quite a hike in, 3.5 miles. Wasn't bad, but
Yeah,
made it doable. Real nice.
yeah,
A little smelly, but it's all good. That was
yeah.
real nice. Yeah, weather's perfect. I mean, we couldn't. 3 years I've been waiting for fresh powder and finally got it.
Yeah, well, everybody here has been waiting for fresh snow too, because
Yeah.
it's been a little. The winters have been a little lackluster lately. So,
Kind of. It's always been kind of like a late seasons kind of deal.
yep,
Yeah, and
yep.
I even had a buddy of mine, or business partner actually from Valuetainment. He came up too randomly, and it was awesome. So we got to see each other too, and first time for him seeing snow and snowboarding. So
Oh, really?
he was like a little kid on Christmas. I was like, yeah, you'll like it for like a few days, and then you'll hate it soon. Don't worry. Don't get too
Yeah,
used to it.
yeah. Well, it's cold. A
Oh
lot
yeah,
of people don't know. A lot of people don't know what snow's all about. I've lived here my whole life, so it's a little normal. But
yeah,
people come here and they're like, "Dang, what's all this crap going on?"
yeah.
You were saying you were driving in the car and everybody was like, "Oh no, we're gonna."
Well, yeah, everyone's like bugging out. I'm like, guys, relax. I mean, like, I do this on this is my job to drive around.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're going through a blizzard and like, I mean, man, it was accumulating real fast. And trucks were just slipping and sliding. Even though they were chained up, nope. They got to go up that big uphill
Mm-hmm.
and no shot.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's just trying to get around. Whoever had four-wheel drive, good luck. You're gonna make it. But those BMWs, nope.
Yeah.
They were stuck.
No. You were saying you're surprised at how many people are in Utah. Like how many big businesses are there
Yeah, I
are, and
mean,
how many I guess we should say celebrities or famous people or whatever,
per
like
se.
Instagram
Yeah.
influencers. Like,
Well,
uh,
it's like here's the thing. It's like, once when I got into the Lions Den, and then I started following Sean
mm,
Whalen, and then going from there, I was like, oh look, Dan Fleischman, look at Dan Young,
mm,
and so many other people like in
mm,
that group who are around here. I'm like, damn,
yep,
I,
yep,
I didn't
Keaton.
I didn't I didn't expect Salt Lake to be that you know keen and heavy with business and influencing people.
Yeah, yeah, Keaton Hoskins is here too. A lot of people are taking up residence. And you're not the first person who I've heard say why Utah.
Yeah,
That's a
I
lot
know a
of.
lot of people say is like there's something magical about Utah. It's not just like the place itself,
Yeah.
but even going back into whatever like laws were written and just the lifestyle that people produce here.
Yeah, and well, people that live here, you'll hear people complain about Utah because of LDS people and how much influence there is, but it creates a culture of I think you don't find in a lot of places. There's a good culture here.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's not like, in New Jersey, I'm like, I'm not gonna like talk crap about like the whole area there, but even if you like, you go into New York City, you see a different culture. Even if you go through the five boroughs,
yeah.
you see a different culture there. Staten Island, you see a
Mm,
different culture. You go down to Philly,
mm,
whole different world there too. You go
yeah.
down to the Jersey Shore, you go up north into the mountains, you stay in Central Jersey does
Yeah.
exist for people that don't know. They're gonna knock that around. But even seeing that role, you got in such a small square mileage of area,
Mm,
millions of people,
yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just cultures from
Back.
all over everywhere,
Yeah.
all kinds, everything.
Yeah. Well, so people think Utah's a little, um, there's not as much culture. They think it's not as diverse. I mean, there's a lot of people that complain about Utah for no reason that have
I don't
been
see what to
here.
complain.
Yeah, well, been here their whole life, and then they're gonna turn around and shit on the place they were born and raised
Yep.
for no reason, but other than they're just bitter. I don't know, but
Mm.
it's great. It's awesome here.
No, it's beautiful. Like I
Yeah.
always love coming out to the Midwest. It's just, I mean, per se, like because I'm outdoorsy and there's so much to do.
Yep.
So it's like, when it comes to like hunting and it comes to
Mm-hmm.
fishing and it comes to just the outdoors,
Mm-hmm.
snowmobiling, motocross, snowboarding, skiing, all that stuff. Like just, I mean, just the vast landscape that there is here, just to offer amazing, amazing experiences.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
And
So what do you do in New Jersey? Tell us a little bit
so
about that.
born and raised pretty much in New Jersey, living there for my whole life, the last 29 years. And from outside of school, when I was done with that, finished as an electrician, and I've been doing the electrical work for a while with that. But my main work is in the utility. I don't think I'm allowed to really say who I work for, but just yeah, as a utility guy, I'm a substation engineer. So pretty much I perform all the switching that goes on the power grid from substation to substation. And so that's like the other thing I notice when I go to different places is to what kind of setups there are, what's going on here, what are they doing in this array of technology, and
Mhm.
how is their grid operating, and always focusing on that. But then the other side businesses I do, I got my dad's construction company, so pretty much we do interior, exterior remodeling. So another fun aspect. I mean, I was into that when I was like five. The second I could walk and talk, my dad kicked my
Mhm.
ass to get to work and pick up a
Yep.
broom and go do something. So we were doing that, and ever since, yeah, just those two. And now I started my own apparel business, my own apparel brand. So just getting ready to launch that up and going.
Yeah.
But ever since joining the Lions, then that was probably the biggest move, because I was like, no, everyone was worried about economy, this and that, but business just keeps going.
Yeah.
So just keep another thing going.
There's something to be said about the having that scarcity mindset, thinking that there's not enough money to go around, and the economy's going down, so oh well, we can't do anything. There's
Yeah,
nothing to be done, like oh shoot, we're all screwed.
right.
But you can think like that, or you can just get out there and work. And the people that can make it through these hard times, the economic downturns,
Yep.
are the ones that are going to last. It really shows who can and can't run businesses, and who can and can't manage their money. You know
I think it's just
what
the fact
else?
of like, no matter what state the economy is in, I've never collected unemployment.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really has a reason, unless you're really like, if you get injured or hurt or something like that, that's different. Yeah, I, I broke my leg, whatever. Okay, 6 months. I can't go roofing. I can't go
Yeah.
picking up sheetrock. I can't go wire up a house, things like that. But it's like there's plenty of work out there.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
so much work that people have no idea. It's like, yeah, like get your ass off and go to work.
it's even worse now with the COVID stuff, because we were going through some people, hiring some people, and it was funny because some of the guys would come and stay only just long enough to kind of prove that they were looking for a job,
Yeah,
and
yeah, people that want to use the system.
and then go and keep getting their unemployment check because
Yep.
they couldn't get them.
Yeah.
And COVID really got this system where people were just sitting at home collecting money and not doing anything for it. And it made, I think, a lot of people that are entitled to not have to work. So it's a crazy thing right now. Crazy to see.
I mean, it's just that whole thing sparked up so many other things. That's like it's a spiral effect. It's just gonna be a wave. Here comes the endless money printing, like you said. Guys are gonna use the system. People are still gonna use the system, but it just comes to that point of how far is this gonna go and what's gonna come next.
Mhm.
So I think now we're just starting to see like we were talking before. Silicon Valley Bank just collapsed.
Oh yeah.
There's it's just going to be one effect after another. Interest rates are going up. What's going to happen here? What's going to happen
Yeah.
there? Is your bank going to hold your money, or is you
Yeah.
just going to vanish?
Yeah.
People don't know.
No. Well, these banks, it, back in 0809, it really was prevalent, with people losing their houses and stuff. And it was really kind of showing how bad they actually are with handling your money.
Yeah.
They're not like, it's not like they're not, um, they're impervious to collapse. So,
Well, here's the other thing. I think aside from the money, the most important thing to have is what we have: trade. I know how to
mm-hmm,
use our hand. We know how to use our hands.
mm-hmm,
We can go
yep,
build something. We can go do whatever we want. That's the biggest thing.
yep. There'll always be,
Yeah. No matter what
yeah.
economic downfall there is, we always turn up.
Yeah, well, there'll always be those jobs that people just don't want to do because they're too hard. I mean, one I think of in particular is cleaning up portable bathrooms.
That's one I don't think I'll go that far.
I
Yeah.
know. I see the people that are doing those when they come up on the job site.
Yeah.
We see them coming and we're like, oh shit, we gotta go. Cause I mean, there's been times where I've been finishing concrete and there's one 20 feet away from me and one of them shows up to clean
Yep.
the bathroom and I'm just like, oh, I gotta get this shit done. Oh man. And then and they start cleaning it and I'm just like, oh,
Yeah. And it's like
freaking
I'm like,
it.
I don't
Get
know
it out
how
of
they
there.
do it. Those
Oh
guys are
no.
something.
They must be making bank doing it because
I never I we had we had a bunch of them, and then one we were at one like our reporting location, and we had one guy that just kept coming. I wanted to ask him like, dude, how much you get paid for this? I was like, I was always curious about that. Like, I mean, okay, I'll drop him off, but man, I gotta pump it out now,
Oh my.
dude. And it's like
Yeah.
it's not like something you think like, oh, I'm just gonna go hit that one weekly. No, you probably I don't know how many you do in a day and every day.
We were working last week in a subdivision. They probably had 20 of them
Yeah,
throughout the subdivision, and they were just making the rounds, and it was like, man, it smelled like crap all day long,
all
all
day.
day. Because it just the wind was carrying around. I'm like, man, is this ever gonna end? Oh.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's like, you think about like, yeah, like dirty jobs, right? Like
Yeah.
when Mike Rowe would go around, like how far does a person decide to go when it comes to like, I need a job, I need money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, garbage men, they make good money.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of jobs out there that people don't realize, like, oh, it might be crap, literally. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but it's like, man, the money's good.
Mm-hmm. And they'll always be there.
Yeah,
Or
no
at
matter
least,
what.
I mean, in our lifetime, I don't envision technology coming so far that it replaces some of these manual labor jobs. And that's kind of, I mean, that's kind of the whole point of this podcast and the movement is like, and even Mike Rowe, that's the whole point of his.
Yeah.
That these trade jobs, they're good jobs. And
People don't realize it.
no,
I'm
yeah.
like, no, you want to make $1 million doing a trade?
Yeah.
You can do it.
Oh yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
just live in a simple life making $150,000? You
Mm,
could do that too.
mm.
It's all there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
people
it,
just don't realize that. And the problem is our school system
mm,
never really teaches us that. I mean, in New Jersey, at least when I was there, I already knew from the gun, thanks to my dad and his uh, influence on me in the construction business and the trades there. I mean, he knew everything from like electrical to plumbing, framing, roofing. I mean, you name it, he does it all. And then that's when I made the decision, like, okay, I'm going something in electrical. And was that going to be, I'm going to have my own business and be licensed?
mm,
Am I going to go be a lineman? Whatever it may be, but I knew that's where I'm focusing on. And looking back now, like we have those like reunions, you see same people from your high school. It's like, oh, who's doing what? Where have you been? What have you done? And like, who's been per se the most successful? It's like, I got no debt. All of you do. And it's
mm-hmm.
like, for me, business is booming, everything's going good.
Yeah.
And that's like that. I think that's like the lack that people don't think about, or at least we're told where your knowledge is going to go and where your future is heading to.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
are you going to struggle? You're not going to struggle. You have to struggle. That's one.
Yeah. Well, the school system's almost made it out to be where, you know, oh yeah, you go to college and everything's going to be all fine and dandy and you'll get a good job and it's almost made this environment where people think they don't have to work hard
Right.
because they've been going through so much school that they're like, okay, well, I should just be able to get a job and have it handed to me and really not have much responsibility, not have to work that hard. Like people think that these 40-hour weeks are even too much.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, and I get a little bit of what they're saying. I mean, yeah, nobody wants to spend every waking minute working, but in order to make society go around, it's people had to be out there working. It's how our society is set up, and until there's a major change, that's not gonna change. And so it's really damaging to our society to have so many people that don't want to and can't.
Yeah.
Like they think that they shouldn't have to either.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like now, it's like I'll be posting up like on social media, like I'll post stories on Instagram, like, oh, doing a new kitchen, a whole new gut job, or whatever, new bathroom tiling, doing the electrical work, framing, whatever it may be. Now, at 8 people, I got people from like 28 to 32 that are now hitting me up asking me like, oh, into getting into construction, and we want to remodel because we're getting older, and it's like, oh, these are things you get into. I'm like, where have you been the last 10 years? And I called you years ago to come help me out and work and this and that. I was like, hey, I'll offer. And I was like, but guess what? Now you're gonna pay, and now you're gonna learn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's just there's so many people that I think it's looked down upon, right? I mean, in school, um, my dad, has a business and does concrete flat work, and I was proud of that. And there was quite a few people that kind of almost looked down on it. And it was weird because there was this transition where like, oh yeah, well your dad just is a construction guy. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And like these kids' parents that are doctors or whatever, it's all like celebrated and yeah, well, yeah, they spent their whole life in school and they're a doctor,
And
but
still in debt their whole life, pretty much.
still in debt their whole life.
Yeah.
And there was this weird switch where I started to have friends call me rich kid, which
Mm.
just pissed me off because I was like, are you kidding me? Like, my parents have been like, I haven't, you know, not had a good life. They've made me work though. It's not
Yeah.
like I just get handed stuff. And these same kids that they're calling me rich kid just because my parents have a nice house, they're getting handed cars by their parents and they don't have to have a job. They don't have
Right.
to do anything. And I'm like, I pay for my own gas. I had to buy my own truck. Like
Yep.
I would have problems with it and he would help pay for it. But I was putting in this work here and
Yep.
you're calling me like, are
Rich.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are
I'm
you?
not a spoiled brat.
But that's because he was in construction.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, I'm a rich kid because he works hard and he's in construction,
Yeah.
but they're not making that connection. It's just, oh, you have a big house, you have nice things, you're rich. Okay, well, where is that coming from?
Mm. Well, it's like
Where is it?
most of the time it was, I've realized growing up in like a construction family, right? So it's like, I'm going to work hard, but I'm also going to enjoy my life. So I'm going to enjoy and get what I want. That's the big factor right there. And that was the same thing. It's like, oh, look, he's got, you know, a new motorcycle. Oh, new dirt bike. Oh, they're going on a trip here. They're doing this there. It's like, yeah, but you don't see what's going behind the scenes. Like we're busting our
Yeah.
ass like 68 hours a week.
Yeah.
And then I get that one free day that I'm going to go enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I see that a lot. I mean, especially being around it my whole life and in it every day, there people in construction, I mean, it's hard work, but you also enjoy. You also have things that you enjoy.
Yeah.
But then on that flip side, if you don't, then it takes a toll on you because it is hard.
It's like, I wouldn't consider it in a sense like you want validation from other people to enjoy your life. Like I said, yeah, you're putting in 68 hours a week of hard labor and you're just tired.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the difference between like me and my dad now is my dad would come home, you just relax. He'll go do what he wants to do also, but most of the time it's like just kick it back and that's that. Otherwise, you know, after a hard day's work, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do more. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna go see my guys, get in the gym crew and get a good workout in. Just like that to me is my mental breakdown, social breakdown, every type of breakdown possible. And it's gonna like and lift me up even more. And then just go do better the next day and keep going like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no breaks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, idle minds are the devil's playground, right? I mean, you can work hard all day and be doing well, but then you go home and sit down on the couch and it's like, oh man, well, I have to do this, I got to do that. Like, oh man, this bill's got to be paid. You start thinking about all this stuff that yeah needs to be done, but it's going to be taken care of. But it like sits there and weighs on your mind and eats at you because
Yeah.
you're just sitting there like sitting in your own thoughts, and it starts to take a toll. That's when people are turning to they have depression issues,
Drinking,
drinking.
smoking, going out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You have this like, you lose yourself. And then over that time of like not having that discipline, then you start becoming complacent with your own self. And then that's when you're going to have problems.
Well, and I see people make that relation that, oh well, because all these manual labor jobs, they're doing that to people.
Yeah, that's just what they think. But in reality,
no,
no.
yeah, no, it's not.
No way in hell. I mean, obviously you gotta start from the point of like you gotta love what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't love what you do, you move on.
Yeah.
Go to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Find it. Find your purpose. That's the real start there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're waking up and going to do something you don't like to do, and then you're gonna go resolve yourself around drinking or other problems, you better find something. I mean, everyone's gonna have that struggle point. Like I did it for 2 years where I was just resentful, like not resentful of myself, but like trying to move. It's like, oh, come on, I got to make this move. It's got to happen. I'm trying to move up. I'm trying to move up. But what a lot of people told me was like, just be patient. It'll come.
Mm-hmm.
Your time will come. And that's when it was like, yeah, I mean, I was only like 23, 22 at the time. And then that's when it was like partying and going out after work and just constant like, then that's when like drinking was again heavy, partying was heavy, wasn't taking care of myself. Um, and then once when I guess I got the job that I have now, then that's when things started changing for me.
Mhm.
Then that's when it was like, okay, be more disciplined, be more strenuous on your own body, educate yourself more, do more, and just keep going from there.
Yeah. Well, there's a few points to touch on there. The what you said, being strenuous on your body. I mean, I hear it all the time where people are like, "Oh yeah, I have a manual labor job. I don't need to work out."
Yeah, that's a crock of shit.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy to me because these jobs, yeah, they're hard on your body, but we're meant to be moving a lot. And if you aren't doing more to build your butt to build up, I guess, muscles around what you're always using,
Yeah,
it's your body's just going to break down because
exactly.
you're using, like, say you bend over a lot. If you're not doing like an opposite movement of that, and like doing exercises to strengthen your back and stuff,
Yep.
that's when you start to have back problems. We see that a lot with athletes that have like knee problems. This is cool that I've just stumbled upon the knees over toes guy
I've
on.
a lot of people have mentioned this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he had terrible knees, and he played a lot of basketball. I
Mm.
think through college is what he said. I haven't looked into his background there, but he was saying that he always thought that he couldn't keep playing basketball because he had terrible knees. Like that was his debilitating weakness. And
Mm.
now, after doing like he started to reverse engineer the movements that you're doing in basketball, the impacts, the forward motion, and he just started reverse engineering it and strengthening his knees. He hasn't had knee problems in 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I gotta look into this.
Yeah. Well, so it comes down to this. It comes down to this, like like your core four, right?
Yeah.
Your four areas of your life: your power, passion, purpose, and production.
Right.
Your production can be off the chart, but if your power isn't there, or if your passion isn't there, or your purpose, if you don't have a purpose, if one of those areas is lacking, all of the other ones are going to suffer. And that goes down to your fitness levels. If you are just breaking down your body and you're not doing stuff that'll help you get stronger, it's everything is going to suffer in your life. If you're focusing so much on your work and nothing else is getting taken care of, your work isn't going to be good, and neither is anything else.
Yeah. There's like details in there that like they all, like I said, they all coincide together. So once when you like get an off balance in something, like you better wake up and check yourself real fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, and then that's like, going back to the whole core four aspect. You really want to wake up every day and look at all four of those things and think to yourself, okay, either make an agenda for that day or at the end of the day, look back as to what you did and reflect.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a big key. But that's also in that sense of discipline. You got to like raise yourself every day to have. It's it takes time.
Yeah,
Not
it
everybody,
does.
not everybody's the same.
I mean, the whole discipline is super important, and I'm always posting on social media about discipline and stuff. I hope that people don't think that I'm just some like super freak discipline fanatic like
Yeah.
Jocko. Jocko's on some other level. I mean, he was like the other day in a podcast interview was saying how he's had a shelf in his jujitsu locker that he hasn't put together for 2 months or whatever, and was like saying he's dropping the ball there, and because he's like, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like every other like, but it goes down that far. I mean, and having that discipline to like to do things that need to be done,
Right.
but avoiding them because you don't want to, or whatever it is. Like having that agenda is critical to keeping you to that, because you can only rely so much on discipline because you'll only have so much before you run out, I guess. Like
Yep.
I almost would think of it as like a daily allotment of discipline. Like you do so many things that you just force yourself to do. There's going to be at some point like a point where you just can't get over that anymore. So having that schedule, it takes out the need to force your like to keep yourself to it
Yep.
and to talk yourself out because you're following this schedule and it's almost just like automatic.
You don't want to make it like repetitious, but you also want to make it like challenging
Yeah.
to yourself
Yeah.
also. So it's like no matter what, it's like okay, at the end that like you have to have like that set goals of
Mm.
like no matter what. Today we're gonna go put up on 20 sheets of sheetrock, and I know, like you said, physical labor just because it's heavy and I'm lifting it up and
Yep.
doing it myself doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna have a good meal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hit the gym. I'm gonna hit it hard,
Mm-hmm.
and then same thing tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Get a good rest and go.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but and then having these like little increments of like things to do to benefit you. It's even like Andy Frisella's program, 75 Hard.
Yeah.
Following that, I mean, for me, I haven't done it, but I have my own way of doing it
Mm-hmm.
because of my job.
Mm-hmm.
Working in shift work, 12-hour days, either days or nights, it's tough
Mm-hmm.
and it's more mental than it is physical. So following certain people as to what to do. I mean, I love my job. I love how it functions. But let's say you work 7 nights in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It beats the shit out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how these nurses and doctors and like praise them, but when you look at them inside, they are falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of them that have like health issues around it. So Huberman, Andrew Huberman, he's got his own studies and programs of like what's it like to be on shift
Mm-hmm.
and then how to fix your body from that.
Oh, nice.
And going from there, it's like understanding how to better yourself. That was the biggest takeaway from that. It's like, okay, I got to better my body because I've seen what shift work does to people, guys that retired that I worked with. And going from there, it's like, okay, now I got to really take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, you work for a company, you also have your own business, and then you're doing another business. You got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of taking care of to do.
Yeah.
But that's like the whole point of like the whole everyday discipline aspect is you're gonna live longer.
Yeah.
You're gonna be happy.
Yep.
You're gonna do a lot more.
Yeah. Well, it's so much sacrificing a little bit of discomfort now for longevity,
Yeah.
for a better life down the road. Because, I mean, yeah, you could go home and you could sit on the couch and do nothing. But what difference would it make 10 years down the road if instead of sitting on the couch for 2 hours, you sit on the couch for 1 hour and work out for the other hour every day? For the, how much of a difference would that make in 10 years?
Well, it's like, especially if you also want to be a family guy, like that kind of discipline is going to go a long way for not for you, for the family, but also for your kids. So it's like, they say like, oh, you're going to go work out. What are you going to do with the kids? Like, bring the kids to the gym.
Yeah. Do whatever
they're going to grow up much more disciplined than you just because you were showing them a path.
Yeah.
And showing them that path, that purpose. Then they're going to grow up the same way.
Yeah.
And they're going to be far, far more ahead than other kids are going to go to school with.
Yeah. Well, kids definitely follow in their parents' footsteps, follow in their tracks, they see the examples and basically replicate their lifestyle. So you got shitty eating habits, you don't work out, all you do is work and come home and sit on the couch. Your kids are going to do the same thing.
That's now that you mentioned eating habits like that too.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest skills that people need to learn is cooking. Learn how to make your own damn food.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying like, okay, go out and kill something and eat it. Like that's just me. But yeah, no, having culinary skills is a major benefit. I mean, yeah, people in the fitness industry mostly are going to meal prep and cook on their own. But the amount of people that I see that's like just going buying like just trash food, like 90% of the food that's in the stores is not good for you.
Well, so this is a huge problem in like hard manual labor jobs, like construction jobs, job sites. Like,
oh, it's so easy. Just go drive down the road to McDonald's and go get
it. I've been basically my whole life been going to grab food at gas stations or like fast food places for lunch or for, your quick snack for breakfast or whatever. I actually haven't even been meal prepping or bringing food with me until the last months or 3.
Oh, really?
Just because it's been so hard. Well, it's easy to do that, but it's hard to figure out like what you want to do, what you want to eat, what you want to bring, how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like there's a stigma about carrying around a microwave on a job site because you're going to be like a Mexican, which, not try to be racist. That's just a funny thing that I really wish that I brought microwave around, and people are like teasing me about it, like,
Yeah.
you're going to be basically just a Mexican. I'm like, so what?
Yeah.
Like it's, but I haven't done that. I've just been bringing sandwiches, and it's biggest difference
I'm
because you go and get a fast food burger. I
yeah.
mean, it is just trash.
And then tell me how you're gonna feel after that
Oh my
burger.
gosh, you just feel terrible.
Oh my god, like on my insides.
Yeah.
I think I didn't eat like fast food for like maybe 8 months.
Yeah.
And I stopped at like I was just so hungry on the road, and I'm like, I gotta get something to eat.
Mhm.
I don't have time to like I didn't bring lunch, forgot it, whatever. I forgot what happened. But I stopped at Wendy's and I got a burger. And then after that, oh my god, I was like, I'm gonna die.
Oh my
I was like,
gosh.
my insides are gonna
It
explode.
is
And it
the
just
worst.
runs right through you.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
terrible. If you're doing it every single day, you don't even realize how much
Yeah. Like
it's affecting you.
advice for people is like
Oh,
don't eat any of the fast food
none.
for like
None.
don't eat it for a month
Yeah.
and then try and see how you feel.
Well, it started to get to the point where I would like not eat it as much. And then as soon as I kind of stopped eating it as much, like really for the last year or two, I just haven't been getting anything.
Right.
So like maybe I don't eat breakfast. So maybe I would grab a snack at a gas station,
Uh-huh.
not like a food item per se,
Yeah.
but like, and then
A
I
healthy
wouldn't eat
snack of some
anything.
sort. Yeah.
And then I wouldn't eat anything at all for like until dinner.
Damn.
Just because it's
I would
like you just start to you smell that fast food and it's like, oh my gosh,
you just yeah.
it just like
And
this
the air
smell.
smells good. But once you put it in your mouth, it's
well
like, oh my God.
well I got to the point where even the smell of the food, like smell of Arby's,
Oh.
just makes me just, I mean, I think, funny thing, I think McDonald's is the only fast food restaurant, like the big chain fast food restaurants, that
Yeah.
I can even eat at anymore, and
Really?
they're like just as bad, if not worse, than everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
definitely. It's like to me, it's like everything's just getting faker and faker and faker.
yeah. But like, yeah, I mean, Burger King, Arby's, Wendy's,
Yeah.
like I just get the smell of the restaurant of the burgers.
Yup.
Oh, it just makes my
Well,
stomach churn. And
that's
I'm
the thing.
like,
It's like,
oh my
and going on
gosh.
trips like this, I'm like, I know what it's gonna be like. So I like we went food shopping. I mean, my normal day-to-day schedule of like
Yeah.
when it comes to eating food, uh 6 to 8 eggs for breakfast.
Yeah.
And then I have to have like maybe like some snack on or something like around 10 o'clock.
Mm.
Maybe or just like coffee.
Mm.
And then lunch. And I'm eating probably the same thing for lunch for the next like 7 days because I'll just meal prep the same food. I'm like, I don't care. I'm just scarfing things down and it tastes good, but it's gonna be the same damn meal. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
Our bodies are so adaptive to like a routine,
But then like
really like to have consistency to it.
that
You know
too,
what I mean?
but also people, I feel like I was taught at a young age. I mean, there's like that appreciation. It's like I'm just happy to eat.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have food.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. I'm just happy to have food.
Yeah.
And so people are like, oh, how can you eat the same thing every day? I'm like, I just like I don't know. I do enjoy it,
My question
but I
would
don't think
be,
about it.
my question would be, how do you eat fast food every day? How
Yeah.
do you go spend $10 on a meal every single day?
Yeah, and
on
that's
a fast food meal.
and that's the thing. Like when people don't realize how much money you spend going out to eat all the time.
Oh my
It's like
gosh.
so you just
Crazy.
spend, let's say, whatever on lunches alone in a week, you probably spend like at least $50. No,
Okay.
probably more, probably close to 100 actually now
Yeah.
with the way prices are today. I'm like, you know how much food I can buy with $100? How much meat and like whatever size I want with that?
Yeah.
And what I can make for the
Well,
next.
I
Like,
mean,
I have meals for like the next 2
You
weeks.
think about it, if you stop at a gas station every morning and get fast food every afternoon, which is what a lot of guys do in these construction jobs or
Yeah.
like trade work or anything. Like I see it all. I see how it goes, and I've seen it my whole life. That is easily $100.
Yeah.
I mean, you stop gas station, get a snack and a drink, lunch at
Yep.
for a fast food joint, easily $100 during the week. Which, I mean, you could probably spend $100 and get almost a month worth of at least
I'm like, just
good lunches.
Yeah, I'm like, just go stop at any like grocery store and just like make a list of like what you're gonna buy.
Mhm.
Right? You want to get like potatoes, some fruits, vegetables, and basic meats. Oh, you want to get chicken, beef, pork, whatever. And All right, now learn how to meal prep all
Do
that.
you to make meals that you then microwave and prep, or do you just have them in a lunchbox and eat them as
Oh yeah, pretty much. I mean, like my basic thing would be like meat potatoes, meat rice, like maybe a stir fry. Like I'll cook something up that's like easy to bring around, easy to eat, and it's still filling, healthy, and nutritious. But and like yeah, either I'm gonna have to use a microwave or it's gonna be sitting on the dash or somewhere or another. I'm gonna be
the
doing something to heat it up.
that's the biggest barrier to entry, I think, for so many people on meal prepping and getting good food. Because all I've been doing lately is making a sandwich
Yeah,
with we go get slices of meat from the deli at a grocery store, and I just make me a sandwich with some
right.
meat and cheese sandwich. It's a pretty good size sandwich. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Still better than a fast food joint.
yeah, still gourmet.
Still gourmet. Still way better. Still probably a $10 sandwich. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
and you put in whatever snacks you want because you buy them in bulk, whatever. The thing that always stopped me and stops a lot of people is having to cook or having to carry it around, because
Yeah.
that's the big
You
thing.
you got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Like I love to cook,
Mm.
so I really do have that passion and like I take that time with it. But it's also like I know I'm cooking like not only for myself and I'm cooking for others too.
Mm.
So I'm like everyone's gonna grab in and like have something for
Yeah.
lunch. So it's gonna disappear faster. But at the end of the day, everyone's got a good home cooked meal
Yep.
at the end of it. But it's like what people need to do is really at the end of the day, like, look at your finances. Like that's that discipline, going back to that,
Mm.
like discipline yourself. Like, okay, I'm not going to like, look at your numbers.
Mm.
And then it'll tell you like, wow, okay, yeah, I need to learn how to cook more, or I need to do something to adjust my lifestyle in that
Yeah.
sense of manner.
Yeah. I mean, I've hated the, oh well, I can't stop anywhere because I can't spend any money mindset, because it's like makes me feel like I just don't have any money. But
Yeah.
it's more like you turn around and on the flip side, it's like, oh yeah, well, I just can spend more money on other stuff
That too.
because you waste so much on
Yeah.
the ease of fast food
That
and gas
accommodation. Yeah.
station. Yeah.
But most of the time it's like, okay, I look at, yeah, you are going to save money, but you're doing a benefit to your body.
Yeah.
So
Benefit.
it's like,
That's the huge one.
yeah.
That's
So
a
it's like,
huge one.
you're only putting like whatever little seasoning in it. Otherwise, you go look at like what the ingredients are on all their foods and all the process and like chemicals.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
some of the stuff you can't even like. I'm like, that's in meat. You can't even pronounce that. It's incredible. It's really incredible. So it's like, when it comes to like the food industry, all these big influencers and big fitness people that are out there, they're always they're gonna tell you, get off the chemicals, get off the bullshit, and make your own damn food.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think at the very least, people need to start bringing. I mean, if you don't want to be toting a microwave around,
Yeah.
which a lot of people don't want to do, I mean, at least put together like, I mean, even beef jerky or something.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
I've eaten
something.
my meals cold. Sometimes I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm
well, yeah,
hungry.
that
I'm
too.
gonna eat.
Find something that you can eat cold. I mean, that was something that stopped me, was having to reheat things because I want to eat like a hot meal or something. But
Yeah.
just find something you can eat cold. It's really not that bad, and then you feel 10 times better
Yeah.
day to day. I mean, just throughout your day, you feel 10 times better than you would going out and getting something freaking all greasy
Yeah.
and just
Well,
gross.
yeah, that's like the benefit of like, when you,
Yeah.
if you for you it's a little harder because you're always mobile on the job
Yeah.
site and you're outside.
Yeah.
And then for me, it was always easier because most of the times we're working in somebody's home. So, and we're just gonna have the microwave there. It's like, the job site's inside.
Mhm.
Either we'll be doing siding, but no matter what, microwave is gonna be there. So we'll
Yeah.
have our toaster oven, whatever you want to use to heat up your food.
Mhm.
And that's gonna be, that's that benefit.
Mhm.
And then like, I mean, even like you said, going back to like the whole aspect of that, like even if you have an office job, you actually have a much better easy style
Oh, yeah.
than the rest of us.
Oh, yeah.
But when you get into like the construction area, it's like, yeah, you might be working on an oil rig, or you're doing roofing, you're doing siding, landscaping, whatever manual labor you're doing, you'll find a way.
Well, so what always just gets me, I was talking earlier about how people just don't have to work out because they work a manual labor job.
Yeah.
It's funny because you'll still see a lot of really big out of shape people on a construction job.
Yep.
Still, you'll like concrete finishing is probably one of the harder trades. I'd say you're still gonna see out of shape, fat, like just people that are not in good physical condition doing flat work, doing concrete. You're still going to see it because it's not necessarily about the amount of work you're doing, because your bodies can handle a lot more than you think. Just because you had a day that's like a long day at work and you get home and you're like, oh man, I'm tired. Blah. It's not your mind. It's your mind playing games on you. Your body can go a lot longer
Oh
than you
yeah,
think.
yeah. People that have no idea how much their body can
Oh,
do once when
oh
they,
yeah,
yeah. If you really like test yourself out, but that's like you have that nutrition, you have that energy in you all
yeah,
day. It's like, yeah, I
yeah,
need to eat how much I eat
yeah,
in order to do what I do during the
yeah,
day,
yeah.
and then I'm still eating throughout the
Well,
day
the
just so I could go. I would say as fix my body in the
yeah,
gym in some way or form.
yeah,
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 it's like I'm gonna beat myself to go make a living, but then I'm gonna go beat myself more to go fix myself.
yeah. Well, and that's the weird dichotomy there,
Yeah,
right?
people
But
don't think that.
that like you could, I know that the manual labor job isn't enough. And you know that by seeing that there are people that are big, that
Yeah,
are unhealthy because of their diet.
yeah.
It all comes down to diet.
Another like poor decision choice
All
is like, I
comes
mean,
down to
it's like
diet.
I remember like stories of guys saying like, they come to work and right away beer.
Yeah.
They get the beer comes out right
Yeah.
away first thing in the morning. Or like guys like,
I see it.
yeah,
Yeah.
like in that aspect, it's like the drinking culture.
Yeah.
It's like that's another was a problem and not so much today, but it's like the people who are like the veterans, like guys like our dad's age, and those are the guys that like kind of still try to keep that culture going in a way, or like after work, happy
Yeah.
hour after work at the bar or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
um,
well, I don't know. I don't know if you drink or not. It doesn't matter too much to me. I don't care. I don't care if anybody does. It's more like I don't, just because I see reasons why I shouldn't, and I just don't really care.
yeah,
So it's like I'm just not gonna touch it because I don't. But like you start to see it, like if you're not super disciplined, it starts with like, oh yeah, every weekend or whatever, and then it goes to, oh yeah, every night at the bar,
yeah,
and then it goes to, oh yeah, I'm cracking a beer at work.
right,
I'm gonna go to the bar. That's every single freaking day.
yep.
And then that's where you start to, I mean, that's another route aside from eating poorly, where you just start to get unhealthy and overweight.
It makes a big difference. Like
Oh
I was like
yeah,
that too. Like I mean, yeah, I like having a whiskey at the end of the day
yeah,
after dinner or something like that or before dinner. Enjoy that. But that's like now I've cut that back to like I've had a drink in like 2 weeks. And it's you have this mental clarity, sleep is better, your energy level is through the roof. And then you just like it's also that discipline. Like I just want one just to enjoy. Other than that, like these last couple of days, it's just been I already feel it's brutal. I can't drink like this.
yeah.
No, it's like
Well, that it becomes, I've kind of I don't want to say studied, but watched how it goes, and it really is like people won't drink for however long, and you'll get in a group and it'll be a social setting, and all of a sudden it's just like nonstop roller coaster. And if you're not disciplined in that, that just carries on to forever
yeah.
after. So so it has to be a disciplined thing.
There's also like in our field of work, it's like guys are gonna drink because it's like there's like that
Yeah,
hardness to
yeah,
it and like it's a manly thing to do, right? Yeah. But to me, it's more of like I'm gonna just enjoy like the company of it, and then that's it. I'll have
yeah.
one and I'm good.
Well, that's a hard place to get to, because a lot of people, like I said, they just get right in and
Yeah,
just get carried away. And so you mentioned Andrew Huberman.
yeah.
I listen to a lot of his podcasts because he has a ton of really good information on health and like
Up
science based
facts.
facts
Yeah, all the
on
tests.
how to naturally, like not with medicines, not with some weird like voodoo crap. He's like, it's literally
Just
tested
basic
and
things.
proved and
Yeah,
proven on lifestyle habits, like the way we do things, to drastically improve life. But he also has had a few, I think at least one podcast about alcohol. Again, not to put down anybody that drinks, because
right.
I know a lot of people that drink. It's not like a
There's one thing from
it's
the difference of drinking and then like being an alcoholic.
yeah.
Yeah,
And he was talking about it, and he actually was saying that to get all of the negative side effects of drinking alcohol, you only need one drink a week.
Yeah.
on the weekend, one drink.
Yep.
So it shows you how far it can go because your body, because it's literally, and I don't want to go down this rabbit hole too much, but it's literally like poison. And your body, how it processes it, makes an even worse chemical in there that messes up your gut microbiome
Your gut, your
and
liver, your kidneys,
oh,
everything, everything.
terrible. And like it messes with the way you handle stress. So you have one drink on the weekend, the whole rest of the week, it messes with the way you handle your stress.
Interesting.
Yeah, it lowers your stress tolerance without it.
Huh.
Just one on the weekend.
So that's like also like, you go back to like some of these biohackers. I would
Yep.
call them biohackers, right? So these guys that like go so in depth of like how to reset their body, how to reset
Yeah.
their system to get faster back on track to like a healthy state. And so that was like the big thing, like especially working shift work. It's like, you'll go switch power lines out and do all this other stuff in the middle of the night. And then you come home like, all right, how am I going to reset myself? So I'm like, my circadian rhythm is back.
Mhm.
It's like, even if like I have like a chill night and it's like, okay, I'll get home from work and then I don't know, I'll go do something with the in construction real fast just to go do like I'll go wire up the kitchen or I'll go do a bathroom, I'll demo this or I'll go put the floor down over there. And then it's like I have to hit the gym. I need that part of the day to fix my body because if I don't, it's gonna throw me off. And that it's like, and then when you see that from drinking and the alcohol aspect, it's like, dude, you get hungover and
Yeah, well,
your body's done.
that's another thing actually. If you have alcohol too late, it messes with your sleep.
Yeah.
If it messes
Same
with,
thing with food. If you eat late at night too.
well, yeah, food does, but like alcohol will, it's interesting, and I don't want to. I'm not going to use any of the terms. I'd butcher them, but it it helps you fall asleep because of the way it is, because of how it acts in your body. But it's
Mm.
not a good sleep. It's like a light sleep,
Yeah.
and it's not a full
REM
deep
sleep.
rest. It's not
Yeah.
it's not REM sleep at all, and it's really not good at
Yeah.
all. If you have it to go to bed, that's an even bigger problem. If you have to drink to fall
Yeah.
asleep,
Now you have a problem.
that's
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Like I said, then it's not drinking. Then
And it
it's
blows my mind that happens,
yeah.
but it does. And it's really prevalent, especially like you say, the hardened guys
Yep.
on the jobs, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna drink because, oh yeah, this is I'm badass, whatever. And it's like, I think what's badass is being able to feel good all the time
Yeah.
and then not have to rely on that
Right.
at all. Like, it had not have it affect the way you handle your stress, not have it kill your brain cells,
Well, it's
not
like,
have.
and then you look at like guys that get to like, their 40s, 50s, and they're like, oh, I gotta take blood pressure medication and do all this other stuff. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I think majority of fathers out there that are at that age are on that kind of level, or at least like when they get to 60, then yeah, then they start like more doctor visits. I'm like, maybe if you just cut out a couple things from your life, cut down on the drinking, cut the bullshit sugar out, no processed
Yeah.
foods, and you'll see what a massive difference you're gonna have in your
Yeah.
life. And you're gonna feel better.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, you're gonna feel like 20 years younger.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna have to take medicine. Like obviously how the way the medicine today is, one thing's gonna lead to the next.
Yeah. Well, you'll have full mental capabilities too,
Yeah,
because and I feel, I've been dogging pretty hard on alcohol. I'm not anti-alcohol. It's
either for you or it's not for you.
well, yeah, to a point. I mean, I think people just need to be informed, and I like to tell people, just because if you know how bad it is for you, maybe then it'll help you be a little bit more in moderation about it. But
Yeah.
like, if you're a pretty moderate drinker your whole life, you're more likely to develop dementia problems too,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
later on in your life. And like
Absolutely.
the high blood pressure, I mean, all of that is traced to alcohol.
Something's gonna happen.
It's
Yeah.
it's not something that is good for you.
Yeah.
You can drink, yes. I'd say one a week should be max, but whatever, it's up to you.
You do what you want to do. Yeah.
Do what you want.
Yeah.
I'm saying you can get every negative side effect from alcohol from one a week, one beer,
Yep.
which is just and there's such a culture too, because I know so many people that they'll offer me a drink And I'm like, nah, I don't do that. I'm like, why not? Come on, you got to. I'm like,
Yeah, they like try calling you out. I'm like, oh, that was back
no.
in the day. Like, I'm good now. It's
I'm
like,
like, I don't want to. And they're like, why?
yeah,
Why? And I'm just like, because why does there have to be a reason?
yeah.
And it's such a crazy thing because it just is, it's just it's taken over everything. I mean,
It's also like it always comes down to like that social aspect.
yeah, yeah,
You're not social if you don't drink, or
yeah,
you're not social if you don't go to the bar and drink. It's like, yeah, but I just want to be social. Who
yeah,
said I have to drink in
yeah,
order
yeah.
to do this? Um, it's like, yeah, you're kind of like accepted into like a group in a sense. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you're the non-drinker. Why not? Like,
Yeah.
are people gonna like me for this, or just because I have one drink, or I'm not getting drunk with everybody all the time? Like that's what it comes down to. It's the older you get. I mean, whoever's still like, sometimes you go to the bar. Like, I haven't been to a bar in months, and I like one time you go in, you look at like the age of people that are still. It's like, damn, I remember you were here like 10 years ago, and you're still here all the time. It's like, come on, man, grow up.
Yeah, yeah, figure something out. Gee.
Yeah, go find another hobby.
Well, that's the thing. It becomes a hobby. It does. Like how could going to a bar become a hobby? And this is where I think a lot of problems come with the time management and taken away from your family and your responsibilities.
Right,
I mean, if that's your hobby, I mean, think about how many other things you could be doing that could be better for your life and not contribute to depression problems and health problems than just like being a regular at a bar.
right. Well, it's like, I don't know if you ever heard the comedian Jim Jeffries.
Yeah, I think so.
So he was talking about like he had like a drinking problem too.
Mhm.
And then he goes to the doctor, and the doctor is like, Jim, it looks
Yeah.
like you have an enlarged liver. And he's like, well, that's good. He's like, no, Jim, it's not. He's like, why? I figured, bigger liver is gonna take a little more pressure. It can handle a lot more. He's like, no, 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 dude, you got to stop drinking.
Oh my.
And I was like, those are those things. Like, I had a problem when I was 18, uh, and it was in my liver. And like my family history is like known to, I think we have like some liver problems, but it was like bilirubin. So bilirubin's a toxin
Mm.
in your liver bile that gets created, and to break down a lot of like some nasty shit that goes to your body. So if your body overproduces that, you can die. So I was at that point, I was doing a lot of racing in motocross,
Mm.
and we were just going around to like a bunch of tracks around the East Coast, and I was drinking a lot of like energy drinks, like the Red Bulls, the
Yeah.
Monsters, like just trying them. I wasn't like addicted to
Yeah.
them. Like, it was just like, all the flavors. And I was just trying them all out. And I went for like, regular checkup, blood test. And then a week later, I get a call, get in here right now. I'm like, okay. They're like, how are you still alive?
What?
Yeah, they said my bilirubin level was 5 times the limit. Yeah.
Shoot.
So they were like, they strict diet, like just water, milk, and I think that's it. Yeah. Whatever
Gosh.
natural. Yeah.
And that was just from energy drinks.
Yeah.
Oh
All the chemicals and sugar and bullshit
Yeah.
that's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then ever since I was
Well,
like,
how many were you drinking?
it was like one or two a day.
Really?
Yeah. But it was like in a span of like probably 2, 3 months during like the summer season, pretty much. Yeah.
Wow. I've
Yeah.
I've
That was,
had one or two a day for longer than that.
yeah. Go get yourself tested. You see
Well,
what,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing is that's the next step. I mean, you look at your life and how much better working out can make your life and eating healthy and stuff. And this dedicated dedicated whatever to your health. Like going and getting checked up.
Yeah.
I'd say that's one of the steps that's pretty necessary for people just because your blood levels are so important to
Everything. Like, you got like,
everything.
it's not just like your
Everything.
blood, it's like your
Yeah.
organs, your
Yeah, yeah.
hormones, like your clarity, everything. Like everything has its own function, everything has its own purpose.
Mhm.
So it's like how much you want to take care of yourself until like shit really hits. And then like, damn. So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't drink soda.
Mm.
Like very rarely, if that. I might have like a ginger ale just to like, because I enjoy it.
Mhm.
But other than that, it's like literally just water.
Mhm.
And like good water, not like stuff that's in the bottles that's been, yeah, you could like, I mean,
Yeah.
my friend of mine even mentioned, he's like, water does have a taste. He's like, you ever feel it? It comes down like sometimes you
Mhm.
drink it and it's like, it feels like razor blades. And then you have like good, crisp, clean
Oh
water.
yeah.
And you're like, I feel hydrated.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
I feel
yeah,
good.
yeah, you know, like, yeah, I didn't like learning about what water is, how it works, you know, vortexing it, going into reverse osmosis, all these other aspects of water and like the benefit. Like, yeah, you're working, your body needs more water as a construction worker or any physical labor type of person than anybody else does.
Mhm.
You need water and you need to drink more water.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, I guess I struggle with it. My dad,
Mm.
he doesn't drink enough water. And it's like the biggest pain in the ass. Oh my God. I'm like, Dad, drink. No, I'm fine. And
Yeah. I
I'm
don't
like,
need water.
yeah, I don't need water. Like, I'm like, how much water did you drink today? A bottle. I'm like, dude, you need more. But that's the thing. Like, you know, a lot of people don't focus on their body enough. They think they're like fine coasting and the doctor's just going to be their, you know, savior at the end of it. But no, that's not the case. That is not the case.
No, it is not. No, water is super important. I've noticed a huge difference when I've been more dedicated to drinking water.
Yeah.
Um, the bad thing about all the energy drinks and stuff is the more you drink of those, the less you want to drink water.
Yeah. You know,
It's
but here's the thing. You look at the studies. Sugar is more addicting than cocaine.
yeah, it is. It is very crazy.
So
It's crazy.
to think that that's the case, like it's so easy, just like, yeah, go pick up a soda and drink that. Or, and you see a lot of guys, like even people that I know that I worked with in the past, that like just cut soda out of their life and how much weight they lost, or like
Mhm.
how much healthier they got, that they got off medication because of they cut like some sugars out.
Mhm.
So a lot of that makes a big factor. And plus, working in a physical labor job, how would I put it? When you work in that kind of a field, any field that's physical, and you cut out a lot of the crap, you're going to work a lot more. You're going to have a lot more energy, and your life overall is just going to be so much better.
Well, there's something to be said about like, I mean, say you're just not healthy. Say you're just like you feel like crap, working a hard job. You're always tired. I mean, if you started watching what you were eating, eating healthier, not eating the fast food, cutting out the soda, not drinking alcohol, getting enough water, and you started working out and
Yeah.
you kept those, which is basically 75 hard,
And
mind you.
people think that
That's
that's like impossible,
it's
right?
well,
It is probably one of the easiest things to do in your life.
it's I'd say if you knew how important it was and you knew how much it could help you,
The benefits, yeah.
it is way easy. But if you don't and you're not convinced, I can see how it could be hard because you're like, well, I like this. Why should I? But if you committed, which is, I mean, 75 hard is a mental thing, right?
Yeah. And it's free. Just so people know, it's
it's a
free.
program that's
I mean, if you want
free.
to get the book, like I got the books,
Yeah.
yeah, you get them. It's cool to have.
Yeah.
And it's great to
Yeah.
go through them. But it's freaking free. You go
Yeah.
online, you download the app, and you do it.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is if you commit to that, say your goal is I'm going to do 75 hard, which I mean, even if you don't finish 75 hard for, I mean, let's say it takes you a year to get it done
Yeah.
because you relapse every, a couple,
Yeah.
maybe so
You
you
did
got
20 days,
you
you
got,
failed. You did
yeah,
25
whatever.
again, failed. Okay, starting
By
again. Yeah.
by the time you get done with 75 hard, that's enough time to 30 days is enough time to build a habit. So you do one thing every day for 30 days and you'll have a habit formed.
Yeah.
75 days of doing something, you'll start to get into a place where you have habits that are forming and what's for what works and what doesn't for you. But more likely than not, you're not going to go back to your same lifestyle. You're going to feel 20 times better than you ever did in your life after finishing 75 hard and be like, this is nice.
Yeah. And then
This
that's
is
when you start
nice.
doing live hard.
Yeah.
That's when
Yeah.
that's what Andy talks about. It's like, you do 75 hard, you do it once,
Yeah.
twice, three times, and then you start this like live hard.
Uh-huh.
Right. So, I mean, I've known that 75 hard works best for people that work pretty much a Monday through Friday job.
Yeah.
Steady hours. For me, I've just glanced at the books enough and listened to enough where I was like, okay, I can do my own aspect of it just because the hours I work. But like, just like those key fundamental things.
Mhm.
It's like if everyone could just have that kind of discipline, that focus, all that can benefit and
Well,
change you.
well, and you start making these big changes in your health, and I mean, just
Yeah.
imagine how much better
But
your
it's like,
business and
yeah,
your performance at work is going to be. I mean, this is something that I think is overlooked by a lot of people, that we talk about the core four and talk about how important it is to be healthy and stuff. When you put that much dedication into one area of your life to improving it,
Right.
say, and say the other areas you're like, okay, well, I want to have better relationships with my spouse or my friends or whatever. I want to be more intentional.
You want to be
And
present. Yeah.
yeah, and say like, you know, you're finding your purpose and your reason to be getting out of bed and going to work. Say you're working on all those, your work and your business gonna skyrocket
Yep.
without even technically working on your business.
It's that energy.
It's just that feeling, that mindset. You'll have more confidence.
Yep.
The way you show up will be better. I
Yep.
mean, you'd be surprised at how many more opportunities you get. Most people, like if they had someone coming in that was fit, confident, easy to talk to, like didn't have any shady vibes, like they would want to do business with them over someone that's coming in that's overweight, can barely like get through it. Like,
and that's the thing. Like, we humans as creatures, first thing we do is we look with our eyes and we judge with our eyes,
yeah,
and then we go with our
Yeah.
ears. Like
Yeah.
I said, a man will look at a woman, and that's what's going to attract him right away.
Yep.
With his eyes, and later with his heart.
Mhm.
A woman is going to first go with her ears, and
Yeah.
then her eyes.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah. I mean, eyes are going to play a factor.
That-
Like,
I
do
think
I like
I
this
think-
guy? And then she's going to listen to you and be like, then she'll make her decision.
I think this Tinder and freaking social media thing has been making it a little bit different. Like, oh, yep, I like him.
I mean,
it's messed things
everything,
up quite a bit.
everything.
But
Like the whole, the dating
Yeah.
world is just,
yeah.
yeah. I kind of like one way. I see the benefits of it. Like,
Yeah.
meeting somebody and finding some people that way. Okay, yeah, it's a vetting process,
Mhm.
anyways. Not like how our parents were old fashioned. Like, they
Yeah.
pretty much like, yeah, I'm gonna be stuck with you. Okay, I'm good. It's like, kind of like that. But
Yeah.
even like, going back to the whole discipline portion of your life, and like you said, creating a habit and breaking a habit in like 30 days.
Mhm.
Obviously, the older you get, the harder it is to break a habit. But it's also like, for future fathers to have these habits, these good habits, and get your shit in order and getting your house in order, as we all like to say also.
Mhm.
Like I said, you're going to want to do business with other people. You're going to
Yeah.
find the right circle to be with,
Mhm.
your tribe. And now, obviously, the biggest part of a father is you want to bring those habits and those skills and everything else to your kids. So once when you do that, now you're accomplishing more. You have a bigger purpose.
Mm.
So that's the biggest factor. It's like, obviously you have a spouse to be with, you have kids to look after, and those are your that's your biggest mission
Mhm.
in life.
Yeah.
Is that part.
Yeah. Well, and if you're just like grinding and working and not putting energy into that,
Yeah.
that's a
You got to know when to break limits.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that, you can get lost in your work and in your stuff. And this is where we see a lot of problems happening right now with divorces from people, like, dads not being around, all into their work, like family problems, kids not being raised with a dad or properly
Yeah.
because their dad's not around. I mean, this is all stuff where I think the biggest thing for someone in any realm, but especially in a trade job, especially in a hard manual labor job, be better at something every single day.
Yeah.
You like, it is so hard to see how that could change. Like, imagine yourself in a year or 2 years, 3 years. Where do you want to be? Okay, well, what do you have to do to get there? What kind of relationships do you need? What kind of, what is your purpose? What reason do you want to do this?
Yeah. Why are you alive?
Yes. Like,
Yeah.
what is,
Why did God put you on this
what
earth?
is this? What is the whole reason for you to be here?
Yeah.
Start looking at that and being like, okay, well, every single day I need to do X, Y, and Z for, to move the needle just a little bit
Yeah.
every single day.
Some benefit of some sort in your life to get yourself going.
That personal development, that growing and changing is part of who we are as humans. We're not meant to just be the same, to sit in and not do anything, not get out of the comfort zone. It's about making small improvements in every aspect of your life every day. And I think that really deters some people because they're like, well, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, they don't want to go through that hardship. They
Yeah.
don't want to see that
Yeah.
struggle. But it's like I look at it as like at the end of the day, it's like that struggle is still an accomplishment.
Choose your hard.
Yeah, it
Choose
really
your
is.
hard. Yes.
It's like, I'm not going to choose it. I'm going to go chase it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do what's hard now so that 10 years down the road, my marriage doesn't fall apart. My
Yeah.
wife doesn't divorce me. I don't have kids that, don't listen and don't respect me. And
Yeah.
I'm not overweight and unhealthy, or I'm
Yeah.
I'm in a good position in my job.
This is that, like, that balance in life,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm the type of guy that loves hard. So I'm gonna love my job. I'm gonna love my family.
Yeah.
I'm gonna love my wife.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep going on from there. I'm gonna
Yep.
love my kids.
Yep.
And just like that's how it's gonna go. So no matter at that point in that day,
Mhm.
whatever is there, I was gonna get a lot of love. So it's like, what's it gonna be?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, you're gonna love your wife. You're gonna make sure you're happy marriage.
Mhm.
You're happy. Your happiness comes 1st.
Mhm.
She's gonna be happy too.
Yeah.
And because you're gonna make her happy because she's the
that's
purpose.
that's something that is another crazy thing, that like people will put everybody else before them.
Yeah.
You look at it and it's like, yeah, from an ideal perspective, that might sound good. Like, oh yeah, well, I need to make sure they're good before I'm good.
No, you gotta check yourself first.
You have to have a full cup. You
Yep.
have to be 100% in your health, in your own, in yourself, in your purpose, in your passion for your work, in your work itself. You have to be 100% in those areas before you can even think about providing any sort of comfort, love, like support for anybody else.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because we, get your house in order. Like we had that goes into, people wanting to go out and chase and change the world when they don't even know what's going on with them, with their own life.
Yep.
And like, you cannot impact the world until you yourself are 100%. And then you can take care of your family and have a full cup that you can pour and support them and fill their cup.
That's going back to, like, eating the elephant, right?
Yeah.
One bite at a time.
Yeah.
Don't go after the whole elephant.
Yeah.
One bite at a time.
Yeah. It starts with you.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to overlook that.
Yep.
We want so much to, the take care of work responsibilities and oh, well, my kids need to be, taken care of. My wife needs to be taken care of. It's like, what about you?
Yeah.
Well, if
they'll take care of you, don't worry. It's the family aspect. It's like, I mean, you live, you and your wife together, right? So you guys have that, like, there's a circle constantly going.
Mm-hmm.
It's a chain, and it doesn't get broken. Even if it does get broken, it's gonna get repaired. I mean, that's just life, right? So, I mean, do we get into relationship talks now?
Well,
but it's like, that's like going back to, like, the whole thing. Like, you're working strenuous hours, either whether you're a business owner or you're working for some guy in some company. You could be roofing all damn day and you're just beat to hell, right? It's like, all right, let me go relax a little bit and then go at it again and go do something else. Now, your satisfaction, no matter how hard the day was, or somebody yelled at you, whatever it is, you have to have that sort of satisfaction in you as well.
Mm-hmm. You have to.
Yeah. I mean, no matter what, like, we've had like crazy time, like, storms come in and just like destroy lines and destroy, hit the grid hard. Yeah, I'm working 16 hours a day, and you come home and you're tired. But at the end of the day, like, then that's when you want to find that satisfaction. Like, yeah, we did a lot of work. It was a great day. It was hard. And I want to come home to my woman. And then that's just going to be that satisfaction at the end of the day. Well, I just came home and opened the door and I saw her.
I mean, imagine a situation where your wife, and this happens a lot, where your wife's emotional state and well-being, I guess, and how satisfied she is depends on, you know, you coming home and being like, you're like, oh yeah, let's go, let's go to dinner or what, like whatever. But
Yeah.
like you have a long day like that, you come home and you're like, oh man, like I just need time. Like if your wife, if your kids, if your family, if any relationship relies 100% on you for their own
Validation. Yeah.
validation, for their own, like that's where a lot of problems start to happen.
Yep.
Where if they're good on in themselves without you, but together you two are like unstoppable. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
Like you, they can pour from their cup and help you and support you when you have these hard times. But if they're relying on you and you're over here depleted and you're like, man, I don't have enough left in, like enough left in me, then you start to have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So it's important. I will probably stop here on the relationship part, but like it's important to be in your relationships. You can't be completely dependent on
the
each
one.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be good in your own.
Yeah. You got to be
right.
independent in one way or another, but like, you come into that, like that team aspect.
Mm-hmm.
You still got to, during the day, you're working on yourself, you're doing your own thing. That's, going back to that, like, that's the whole personal excellence.
Mm-hmm.
When you have that in check and you have that going, your own growth and your own personal development also, then hopefully you and your partner are on that same schedule.
Yep.
And you guys are just, and then that you have that aura with each other then. So once when you both are like developing and growing on your own, and that's just going to, that happiness in that marriage. I know a lot of guys who are like linemen who travel around the country because they're, chasing the work.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it goes, projects. And pretty much then their wife is the stay-at-home mom, or she has like a side business going on online, and she does it that way. She travels around and sells, I don't know, she's got like a little Etsy shop where she builds stuff. She's doing something just to keep herself busy.
Yep.
And you're the one, you're going out there busting your ass on the power lines and on these projects, and just, at the end of the day, hoping you live.
Yeah.
But that's that happiness that I see. Like, you're cherishing each other for the hard. I wouldn't say hardship. It is a hardship, but it's a different lifestyle. And I think, like, when two people have that kind of like combination together of that kind of lifestyle and they just enjoy each other, that's really what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Well, and it impacts your day to day.
Yeah.
So it's I'd say one of the more important things. I mean, we've done a lot of talk about your health and your own personal life, and the reason being is how critical it is to be, have your own personal health in order, because that's the foundation for everything.
Yeah.
So it stems. I mean, you can talk about all around the board business and how to be successful in a trade job or whatever, how to do certain things, business tips and trade tips and all that. But at the end of the day, being healthy, being strong, being confident, all of that starts there.
Yeah.
With your body,
with yourself. Yep.
With yourself, working on yourself. So I'd say one of the most important things for people to do is to get right with their bodies and their self.
Yeah.
And it really boils down to super simple.
And that's
the most important.
It's like, you go through all like those little like habits throughout the day, and you get that exercise in at the gym, you get that pump, you'll feel it later. And the next day you feel like a whole, like you can like tackle the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to keep going.
Yeah.
And that, like, that buildup in endorphins and your hormones are just going, and it's just phenomenal. Yeah. And like and you want to not only just be you, it's like you and your spouse or whoever you're with, your partner. Yeah. Go do it together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your life is going to be so much better at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Both of you working on yourself. The bottom line, no matter what profession you're in, even if you're at an office job, which I'd argue that it's even more important to be active and work out.
Yeah, when you sit on your ass all day, it's not good.
and eat healthy and be right. It's even more important. But like, no matter what you do, that's the baseline. And I really want to get that point across to everybody. Like, you'll see insane benefits.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it in people that work with us, for us, around us.
Right.
You can tell who's like, I mean, people probably walk around on the job site and see me and they're like, man, what's this problem? Because I'm just like, like get stuff done.
Intense.
Like, but like, I'm not angry all the time. I'm not. It's just gotta focus on it, instead of like walking around being like, oh man,
Yeah,
like
you like
just like depressed and like, oh,
slouch.
we start. Okay, we got to get to work. It's like, oh man, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and it's like you can tell like who those
Yeah,
people. Yeah,
yeah, you can tell,
yeah.
you can see. It's
Otherwise, with me, it's like,
it's
all right, let's keep going.
yep.
What's next?
Let's go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
No, I mean, like I've when we were in Park City just now a few
Mhm.
days ago. What was it? I think it was Thursday.
Mhm.
We were on the mountain and we were coming back, and we walk into our condo. Whole place is filled with smoke.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that on here.
Yeah, and I'm like we walk in, we're like, what the hell? I'm like, quick, open up all the windows, get turn on vents, just do something. Like,
Yeah,
like we don't see what's on fire,
yeah,
we don't smell anything, but you like, I'm smelling like, it smells like an electrical wire, like
yeah.
rubber is burning, or some
Yeah.
like plastic is burning somewhere, or
Yeah.
something. And then like coming to see, the fire department showed up. Everyone showed up real fast. Like, damn. And they come to find out the fire was on the roof from the vent line. I've never seen a gas main come in on the roof. I'm like, I don't know if that's legal or whatnot, but that was like the most interesting part. And the guy showed me, like, the fireman went up there and they showed me a video. Like, the fire was right there on the roof from the gas line. It was leaking.
Heck.
And I was like, damn, imagine if, like, the sheer possibilities of things going wrong from there.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
imagine if you were all in there.
yeah, either I mean, we probably would have caught it much faster.
Well, yeah, but still, I
Yeah.
mean,
I would never think that the gas, like I said, to me, that was the most interesting part. Like, I've seen my fair share of gas problems and gas mains exploding and like things like that.
yeah.
But that one was a weird one. So it's like, then the guys from the utility came over. I mean, I couldn't believe how long it took the firemen to turn off the gas, the main. It was like,
You'd think it would be.
yeah, I'm like,
Pretty-
usually it's just like a little turn and that's
Yeah.
it. But yeah, some of those can be real hard. And then, like, coming to the guys that came over, and then we started talking. Like, I didn't know Rocky Mountain Power was owned by uh Berkshire Hathaway
Yeah.
or Warren Buffett, which was like, I was like, wow. So we didn't get too much in depth, but then we started talking like, difference. Like, these guys are troubleshooters. So pretty much like those are the guys that are going to come. Like, you got a house, whatever your house, you lost a phase or something's going on with like the power's flickering or something like that. So Troubleman's going to come out there and see maybe the connection is bad or the meter's bad, do some testing, and then talking with these guys, what their like work schedule is like. I'm like, damn, it's even worse than what I have.
Wow.
And I'm like, but then you look, I'm like, one guy looked happy. He looked fit, shape. Yeah. And then the other two guys, I was just like, they look rugged and beaten, and let go.
It's funny because when I started working out, I'd say taking care of myself. I was getting to a point right after I graduated when I was working. I started to lose weight and like just didn't feel good. I just was like, man, this is not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Showing up to work and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was losing weight, I was never hungry. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. And so I started working out, and so many people like, that's too hard. You're not gonna be able to do that. And I felt so much better just from a couple weeks of that.
Yeah. One day can like shift your body.
Oh yeah. And it's a visible difference in my own mind. For me, I can tell. And I think that's when I started noticing that, is looking around and being like, yeah, he's not taking care of himself.
Yeah.
And it permeates into everything you do.
Yep. Everything. It's like, when you have an off schedule, was like, that's when I know. I'm like, I know I need to work out. I need to go lift weights.
Yeah, and it's still hard. I mean, right? Like, I've been working out consistently. I've never missed more than a week, the whole time I've been working out for 6 years.
No, it's not hard. Go do some push-ups.
It's not hard. No, and I stick to 3 times a week. I lift weights 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
I get quite a bit of, movement
at
my job. Otherwise, I probably would do more. I probably wouldn't lift more weights. I probably would do like other sort of types of workouts, like just different. And so I've been, 3 times a week. It's been pretty sustainable, and it's still hard though. It's not like that ever goes away.
Mm.
And I think that think people stop working out because they start and it's easy for a minute,
It's easy to drop something.
and then you get to a point, it's like there's a block,
Yeah.
and your mind will be like, well, you don't need to go today. Okay, well, I'm not going to go today. The next day you're going to be like, I'm going to go, and then comes up to it, I'm not going to go today.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you don't go anymore. There's still blocks you got to push over, but those blocks are what
Well,
like make the difference.
everyone's got to have, like, you can go to the gym. There's obviously a purpose to it. Like, hey,
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
one
yeah.
is like be healthy.
Yeah.
Like we lift every day.
Yeah.
Like we usually do like 5-6 days of lifting. So I got like one of the guys, he's a bodybuilder, and the rest of us we're just there to work out. We
Yeah,
obviously
we're
want
just
to
there.
we just
Yeah.
want to look but we want to build our bodies and we want to
Yeah.
look good
Yeah.
and still stay healthy. So, but in that whole like time, uh so Huberman goes into it, but also Dr. Gabriella Leone.
Mhm.
So she gets into like depth of like the benefits of like, okay, lifting and longevity
Mhm.
and the need to eat meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you have like, and just that, like, muscle building protein. And there was a documentary, like one of those short documentaries, you can find it on YouTube, from Solomon Ski.
Mhm.
And the guy went to Japan, and it was grandfather, the one son, and the grandson. So, and they're all three doctors. And then they talk about the benefit of skiing. So the resistance training, of what like resistance training does to your body or your longevity.
Yeah.
So at 98 years old, the grandfather skied down the Himalayas.
Crazy.
98 years old. So from the grandson to the father to the grandfather passed away at 98. And then the father, he's at that time he was like in his late 60s, and he broke his hip. But because he skis so much and trains also with like resistance, so he'll like carry backpacks filled with rocks just for that weight, or he'll do like resistance band training.
Yeah.
And his hip healed in 3 weeks because he had bone density
Yeah.
of a 20-year-old.
Crazy.
So it's like,
Yeah.
when people talk about like, the older you get, yeah, you got to take care of your body more.
Yeah.
But, you start at a young age. It's like, I haven't broken a bone in my body and I do the craziest shit.
Yeah.
I'll go climb a peak up and go snowboard down that.
Yeah.
I'll go jumps on a motocross track with my
Yeah.
bike and crash and hit trees and all this other shit. It's like all this stuff, and you want to heal.
Yeah.
So people don't realize, the older you get, obviously old people, like, what's it? They're gonna fall, break a bone. Like, yeah, but even if you're 70 years old, do resistance training.
Yeah.
Build your body.
Well, it's important, and as soon as you stop moving, you're basically just running to your death. I mean, it's
we need to move. We're humans.
You see it. This is we're coming up on time here, so this will probably be the kind of the last little point.
Yeah.
You see this a lot in a manual labor job where you have someone who's worked 30 years. Okay.
Yeah.
They've never taken care of themselves, retire. They're just like hunched over and decrepit. They stop moving. They stop doing stuff.
Instead of taking care of your body,
and
like getting massages and moving properly.
It is just an instant downward spiral of health after that.
Yep.
You stop, if you're already not taking care of yourself and you start to develop those types of problems, and then you stop working and you retire, it's like all of a sudden you just worked your entire life and now you're in terrible shape, and then you die.
Yeah.
Because you didn't strengthen yourself.
Well, that's like, you lost your personal purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
To live.
Exactly.
Instead of like, live to be healthy and just be human, be active, be just charging at life the whole time.
Yeah.
That's like what we're missing out. So it's
well,
physical labor, construction, whatever we do, it's get to work and keep going. That's where we're at.
Get after it. Get out there and be better every way you can.
I don't know if to give any type of message, especially like the younger generation, whoever wants to send a message out, don't be afraid to go into a trade.
Yeah.
You could have a damn good life.
Exactly.
And a damn fun one.
Exactly.
You'll have a lot.
For sure. You can. It's underrated, and your high school teachers don't know
is
anything.
And you can go and you want to go somewhere else in the country, you can.
Yep.
You're not going to be stuck to like one little office building, and get your sunlight, get your outdoors, you got fresh air, you're always with great people, no matter where you go.
Yeah.
So you'll enjoy the life no matter what.
Yep.
So
All right. Yeah. Thanks for coming on. It was
Absolutely.
awesome. Awesome podcast.
Hell yeah, that was great. If anybody, so yeah, get into construction.
Where do people find you a little bit?
Uh, Best way you can find me is probably, let's see, Instagram. My name Marko underscore Ilicic, Ilicic. Find me there. I'm launching my apparel brand, Brave
Yep.
US Apparel. So whoever, once when that
Yeah.
gets a full launch, but get a
Yeah.
follow going and we'll get some designs out, getting some apparel
Sweet.
printed, working with a couple guys. Facebook, obviously Marko
Yeah.
Ilicic.
Yeah.
You can find me in the Lions Den and the
Sweet.
Lions Not Sheep also.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I'm around.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll look out for your apparel brand. We know we've talked about it before. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's just it's
Yeah.
getting there.
Yeah.
It's getting there. So
Awesome.
hopefully,
Awesome.
hopefully in a couple more weeks and full
Awesome.
launch.
Awesome.
Yeah. Jaden, appreciate
Yeah.
it, buddy.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Marco.
Thanks, man.
Yep.